Even as a kid, Damon Nelson showed himself to be a deep thinker. Damon has never been known to be one to accept something at face value. He was an analytical kid, always looking beneath the surface of everything to see what made it tick. It was that depth of understanding that became a determining factor in his life. In Damon's world, if it was worth doing, it was worth doing right and worth doing with passion. As a young boy, his brother Don said Damon would fight with his brain. It was his innate ability to organize and discern that allowed him to see below the facade of circumstances and individuals that he encountered. Damon organized his world into things to be embraced and things to be avoided, things he could affect and things beyond anyone's control. He lived his life seeking truth, and he wanted to find it honestly and ethically. But Damon's wit made the journey enjoyable. Damon grew up in Tulare, California, graduating from Tulare Union High School and attending the College of the Sequoias in the San Joaquin Valley before enlisting in the U.S. Air Force. During basic training, he said a guy walked in and asked for any volunteers that wanted to be in-flight refuelers. With a mom and brother in the Air Force, he knew that refuelers were flyers with flight pay. He was the only volunteer. Returning to the barracks later after his interview, he downplayed his job to his fellow recruits, fearing they might jump at it too, reducing his chances to fly on the gas station in the sky. The decision he made that day changed his life.
Fly me to the moon, let me play among the stars, let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand.
Not only did he love lying on his belly, flying the boom on the KC-135, but while doing it, he crewed with Dana, the woman who became the love of his life. Damon flew in the Persian Gulf War, earning an Air Medal and 3 Aerial Achievement Medals. He proudly wore the title Boom Operator long after leaving the boom pod. In fact, just recently, he considered getting a vanity license plate with Boomer on it. Instead, he opted for something just as appropriate. After he left the Air Force, Damon went back to school and earned a bachelor's degree in political science and moved to England with Dana. After gaining his master's degree in international relations, Damon joined the staff of British Parliament member Malcolm Moss. At that point, Damon gained a taste for politics and never lost it. He brought that zeal back to the States and applied it on Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C. It didn't take long for him to be noticed by members of Congress, staff members, reporters, and numerous political organizations. A few months ago, Politico magazine called him one of the power players inside the Beltway. He worked his way up from legislative director to deputy chief of staff to staff director of the House Intelligence Committee. It was there, just last year, he led the committee as it became the focus of national and international attention while they conducted the investigation of Russian meddling in the 2016 presidential election. Damon knew this was an important moment in history and challenged his team members to stay focused on the task that created a report now widely recognized as a definitive compilation of facts detailing the actions, players, and fallout of the foreign meddling in one of the most cherished institutions within the American fabric. It was always amusing when Damon sent photos of those distinctive blue and white planes used to transport congressional delegations. As a child, he was confronted at Andrews Air Force Base by a security policeman as he violated the signs prohibiting photos of aircraft on the runway. Damon was hoping to sneak a photo of Air Force One. To think he eventually was a regular passenger on one of those planes brought him a special thrill. He lived life with passion. Damon was like a conductor, leading a symphony of life's events and experiences and he gathered the best pieces together in order to shape that music with splendor and volume.
Good to see you in Iceland on our personal lava beach.
Yeah, look at the black sand. Amazing.
He became known for helping interns and young college graduates find jobs on Capitol Hill. Those efforts created a virtual legion of congressional staffers in D.C. whose careers were launched with the help of calls, advice, and recommendations made by Damon. Even while he was the lead staffer on the committee, immersed in the media and political spotlight, Damon never forgot those young people. His efforts continued. One of those young people recently remembered when he stored an important map next to a heater and it was destroyed. He says Damon called him into his office for an expected butt chewing. Instead, Damon just smiled and said, "Relax, refugee. You're going to fuck up far worse in your career. Just make sure you always fix your mistakes." And that was it. Classic Damon. He had an adventurous streak and loved to travel, so his job escorting congressmen to famous and bizarre places fit right into his bailiwick. And he wasn't beyond adding a bit of humor along the way.
It's those changes in latitudes, changes in attitudes, nothing remains quite the same. All of our running and all of our cunning, if we couldn't laugh, we would all go insane.
This is the Congo River, and right across is Kinshasa. We came from there this morning, and we're in Brazzaville right now. That is the Democratic Republic of Congo, and we are now in the Republic of Congo.
Making them an international country.
Having lunch
International country.
right on the river.
So it's a
He and Dana traveled extensively to renowned world capitals, remote islands, and planned to visit every continent. They got close.
Smile.
In addition to travel, he had a wide array of hobbies. He enjoyed scuba diving, and theater for a time, a talent that resurfaced every Halloween, and had a long-lasting interest in astronomy. Damon also enjoyed home improvement projects. His home was in constant upgrade. He also relaxed with the unusual hobby of refinishing antique English furniture. But nothing could ever please him more than watching a smile burst across Dana's face. The two of them wanted to provide experiences for each other, like his birthday present to her driving a race car at more than 170 miles an hour at Talladega. Damon didn't cling to those he chose to allow into his inner circle. Instead, he gave them room to be themselves, and he gave more of himself to them. He loved to see people grow and blossom in their own right. He knew, with that string of strong souls around him, supporting a common cause, it would create an effort for good that would become a force to be reckoned with. When he cared about someone, he did so with respect. He provided guidance and leeway as a way of paying forward all the opportunities he had been offered during his incredible life. So, the best tribute all of us could give Damon would be to follow his lead and remember the vigor, confidence, and humility he exercised during his all too brief life, something he often referred to as awesome.